Carb heat is off. Pitot heat we're not going to use. Transponder's already taken care of. Doors and windows are closed and locked. Landing light is on. Strobes are on. Time note, brakes release. Okay, our abort plan.
So it's our takeoff. It's our takeoff briefing, right? Not our abort plan. So we're going to brief what we're going to do for the takeoff, and what are we going to do in case there's an emergency.
Right.
So start with what we're going to do for our takeoff. How are we going to get out of here?
Okay, so we're going to line up. We're going to use as much runway as we can. We're going to go to full power. We're going to keep it on the center line of the runway. We're going to wait for our rotation speed, which is 60 miles an hour, but it's probably going to be a skosh more than that. Dan, we talked about that.
Line of traffic is helicopter 708.
The plane will want to fly, right? So at rotation, you're just starting to give it some gentle back pressure. Don't force out the ground, just kind of some gentle back pressure. When we do some of the other takeoffs, we want to get the airplane flying sooner.
Right.
But for this, it might take off at 65, 68.
Right. And then we want to go for best angle, which is 66, and then we want to climb out at best rate, which is 81.
Yeah, so for today on this takeoff, really focus on those two things, right?
Right.
So rotate, get airborne. Once we get airborne, right?
66.
Get the nose pitched in an attitude that's going to get us to 66, right? And hold that until I tell you not to anymore. Okay? At that point, when I say, okay, VY, you're going to nose over and build our speed to 81. So we shouldn't see 90, right? We shouldn't see 100, right? So think of where 60 is, right? We should be, at the most touching 70, right, on our takeoff.
Right.
Okay?
Because we want to get the most.
So use a little bit of trim to help with that. It's going to take some back pressure though, right? The airplane wants to go. So, but it's important to learn what that looks like, right? And what that and get to that, because that gets us high in the shortest amount of distance, right? We gain altitude.
Right.
The other one, VY, gets us high quicker in the time wise, right? So over time wise. So, but initially we want to get high. Okay. Right. So those are our two things. So what happens if we have on the ground? What happens if we have an emergency?
So on the ground, we're going to stay on the ground, abort, and go figure out.
So the call out's abort, right? Whether I say it or you say it, it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
It's what's your reaction if you hear that?
Abort, throttle back.
Throttle to idle.
Yep.
Right? And if we're towards the end of the runway, it's going to be heavy on the brakes and pull the yoke back, right, to do aerodynamic braking. If we got lots of runway, just let it roll out.
Yep.
Right? Let it roll out, right?
Yep.
So, so once we rotate, we're at rotation speed, we're actually flying.
Right.
Okay? And we have an issue, okay? We lose power on the engine.
Okay, less than 1,000 feet, we're going to be looking for somewhere to land and something soft.
So here, right, we got the mountain. We need to make a left-hand turn. Okay, so it's going to be a gradual left-hand turn.
Right.
And more importantly, what are you going to do with the attitude of the airplane?
Best glide.
It's got to get pitched low, right? Don't even, if you even have time to look at the speed, you got to get that nose down. This is why starting to learn what that looks like, and we'll do some more training where we actually pay a little more attention to the wing angle, right? And get to that critical angle of what best glide is, right? So for us, let's brief that speed. What's best glide?
Best glide. Best glide, full is 81. Low is, so it's probably
so you don't want to see more than 81, and you don't want to see more than 80 and less than 75, right?
Got it.
If you get that speed pitch there and get it there quickly, right?
That's where we want to
so that's going to be immediate forward, not like jerk us forward, but you got to get that nose down, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So once we're above 1,000 feet, which for us is going to be how high?
Would be 12.
It's the 1,200 on the altimeter, right? Yep.
Right.
At that point, we'll consider coming back to the airport. Doesn't mean we're going to, but we'll consider it, right?
Right.
Okay. And so, and then anything above that, we'll troubleshoot in the air, right?
Good.
Okay. Any questions on that?
I got nothing.
All right. Let's roll.
All right. Cool.
So when we get out, I can make the calls for you. Monitor traffic Cessna 8607 uniform. We're departing runway 32 for a southwest departure, Mulino. Alright, so quick.
Helicopter 7087 Juliet, we are re-entering the right downwind for runway 32. We have the traffic getting on the runway in sight. It's 7 Juliet, line traffic.
On that right downwind, be careful.
Alright, so always do a quick flow before we enter traffic. So start at the bottom, fuel's on both, come up, check your flaps, check your mixture, right, carb reads in, right,
Lights are on.
all the way on, right?
Yep.
Okay, now make sure you can see. If you got to turn the airplane a little bit.
That area, as we can. Helicopter 7
So
Juliet.
we're going to look here. Mulino traffic, Cessna 8607 uniforms taken, runway 32 will be a southwest departure, Mulino. Alright, go ahead. We call it lights, action, camera, right? So lights are on, actions I just did here, camera is the transponder, you just look up, verify you're on altitude. Okay, so once we make this turn and we get on the center line, okay, heels on the ground, just use your toes to control the rudder paddles.
Right.
Sense? Look at your windsock.
Okay, windsock.
Okay, so go ahead and apply full power. Get your feet on the heels on the ground, toes on. Remember, you're gonna need a little bit of that right foot. Keep your hand on the yoke. Hand stays on throttle on the yoke. Okay. So power is set. Right.
Right.
Engine instruments are green.
Right.
Speed's alive. We're approaching 60. Okay. There's our rotation. Start to gently pull back. Gently pull back.
Well, traffic, 37 Juliet. We're on the south mile from 32.
All right, now get pitched to that 66, right? Just hold this right here. Don't go any more than don't go steep in that. See how we lost speed really quick?
Yes.
So that was a little too violent, right?
Too much.
So hold it right about here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, look outside. And now pitch for that 80. And Mulino traffic, Cessna 8607 uniforms, runway 32 crosswind, we'll be departing off to the west and then a south turn. Mulino. Alright, always look before you turn.
Well, it was kind of turning.
You're good, so just hold this turn right here.
Welcome to 37 Juliet, taking off from runway 22, we'll be staying in the pattern. Look up to my Mulino traffic.
Don't turn us left anymore, just keep us kind of straight. So, at this point, get up for that 80 climb.
Yep.
And once you're trimmed up, let's go do your you're still turning us to the left. Just look outside here, and let's find a spot on the horizon to choose.
I got it.
So, see that little hill with the trees on it?
Yes, sir.
Over there, let's just point us that way.
Traffic, 347.
Yes, if we're trimmed up, you should be real light on the controls.
Yeah, I got it all.
Perfect.
Yeah,
okay, so once you get us pointed to there, let's do our
we have party traffic in sight.
climb checklist.
Okay. Oh, we're not quite pointed that way, are we?
And Mulino air traffic, Cessna 8607 uniform, Blue Highway, Cessna departing southwest, climbing through 1,700. Last call, Mulino.
Okay.
It's always good to hold the checklist out kind of in your field of vision.
Right.
So that way
okay. Takeoff, we're done. Climb, we're climbed. Power mixture, instruments, taxi landing light off. And flight plan open. Cruise, power mixture, instruments, but we're not quite to cruise altitude. We got another 1,000 to go.
Okay, so this is so don't let us drift any more to the left. Let's, okay, so you see the V way out there.
I see it. Yep.
Way out there. Aim, put your nose to go right through the middle of that.
Traffic, Hong Kong 87 Juliet, turning base for runway 32.
Use that as your kind of just reference. So if you glance out and you notice you're off, then just turn back to that.
Okay. Right. So we're still climbing out. Next is cruise.
Mulino traffic, Hong Kong 37 Juliet, we'll be doing a rapid descent final on runway 32. Mulino traffic.
So where's the Skydive Oregon? There it is. Is that it? to those ponds?
Out of Oregon, it's a little bit, it should be right down here somewhere.
I don't see it. Figured they might be doing something today with the nice weather.
That should be right off your left wing now. Look straight down, look almost straight.
There it is. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that was the right one. It's it right out there, right? It's a grass field?
No, no,
it's grass.
No.
That's it. There's the 211 interchange right there, and then there's the Skydive Oregon. Right? Right down there.
It's a.
Let's see, if you go from the ponds to the right and towards the aircraft is right there. There's a bus right there in front of it right now. I got it. We're clear.
So we don't want to go any farther right. Just if we stay right at that. So we're right at 3,000. We can go ahead and set a cruise here. 3,200 is perfect. A little bit off the altitude is okay.
Helicopter 87 Juliet. Take
so remember,
runway 32, we're saying
just kind of hold the nose down, let the speed kind of build.
Yeah, I was just trying to trim us out a little bit.
So if you do too much trim before you do,
traffic.
Oh, it'll climb just like it is.
Yeah. So that's why just hold the nose on the horizon. Just use it to hold there. Let the airspeed build speed, because as it builds more speed, it's creating more lift, right?
Right.
Speed has a direct influence in lift.
Yep.
So just let it build its speed, and you can set your power. So maybe come off like 100 RPMs. Right, so set it for about 24. Okay. So now just again let it settle here for a minute. Now go ahead and you have it.
Yeah, I got it.
I'll go ahead and trim it. So just let go of it, see what it does, and then to hold it, don't chase the trim with it. Just hold it with your arm where you want it to be.
Right.
And set the trim so you don't have to hold it anymore.
1933 support 0 left turn is in the pattern.
Delta.
We didn't listen to the ATIS.
Check. There we go. Yeah, been crazy.
Better now?
Well, I think yours was your microphone was staying open.
That what it is?
Okay, so let's look at where we're going here and look outside and see if we can start to kind of identify where you're at.
Well, I know that Malala's right behind us. See the hill out by my house, so I know that Salem and Staten is roughly in that direction there. Right, so Independence should kind of be over this way.
Yep, so Salem's actually right off our nose. It's that big city out there. So we actually want to take a heading over here because we want to go to the north of it. So go ahead and make a right turn and find a spot out here on the horizon. Be one of those big, like that big white building, or see where the smoke is.
Oh, for those
So if you look at maybe the peak, or you look at those, that kind of the tan in the forest, use something out there to kind of. Yeah, we gotta really keep our head on a swivel because lots of people out flying today.
Oh, the air changed there. That's interesting.
Yeah, so what altitude do we want to be at?
Well, we were at 32, but now we're climbing up to like 30.
So we want to be at 45. All right, so either keep climbing and get to 45, or we need to be at.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So we're heading west.
Yeah, because we're at a bad altitude right here for.
All right, so we'll go to 45. Just because we haven't been there.
Yep. Well, we when we climb, we're going to lose speed if we don't add power, right? So go ahead and add power all the way back in. If you just do that, the airplane's going to want to climb from your trim, right? So now just adjust it to do a nice cruise climb. So this should be telling you that we're climbing. This should be telling us that we're climbing, right? This should be telling us that we're climbing, right?
Right. So we're at like 300 feet a minute. Do you think it should be more like 5? Or
no, this is good. We just want to be at the right altitude, right? Because especially that's how we deconflict traffic.
Right.
Right. So traffic coming this way is going to be at 3,500. We're going that way. We want to be at 4,500. Right. IFR traffic's at 500 increments, so they're at 4,000 or 3,000.
I'm with you.
So it's okay to be, 100 feet high, right? 100 feet low, right? When you're kind of cruising around VFR. But when we get into the more technical stuff, you really want to be precise on your altitude. Really try to trim and keep that scan going to try to keep it right at what you want to set it at. So this, 4,400 coming up on 45. Yep. If you think of kind of how Independence lays here, right? So see that little valley?
Yeah.
Right? It's on the other side of those hills.
I see.
So we're going to keep just this track until we get to the other side of these hills.
And then take a left.
And then we'll go left down that valley. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now this is a big practice area out here for training out between Woodburn and St. Paul.
Yeah. Lots
of airplanes out circling around and training. So always be vigilant when you're crossing through there. And then remember that we just came through Aurora. And we got Salem down here, so you got a couple big airports.
Right.
So this way, you always want to keep the head on a swivel.
So I'm coming back on power a little bit because we're past our 45.
Yep. So you're good here. So go ahead, just use your arm. Good. Hold it where you want your pitch attitude. Set your power, and then let the airplane kind of settle in on its speed. And then set your trim. And once you have the airplane really trimmed up, if you just add power, you're going to climb, right? If you just pull back power, you're going to descend.
Right.
And if you set the power back to what you had it before, it's just going to level out.
Right.
That make sense?
Yep. So we want to descend just a little. We want to be on that 45, right?
Yep, so just use a little bit of, in this case, you can just pitch down a little bit, right?
I was just playing with the throttle because why not?
So we're doing small, when we're doing kind of small altitude changes, a lot of times you just change a little bit of altitude and you sacrifice airspeed, right? You either gain a little bit of airspeed or you lose a little bit of airspeed.
Right.
And then you just need to retrim back to where you're at. If you chase it with your power, you're constantly going to be.
I'm with you.
Making your,
so a little increments like what we have here.
Now if you're a couple hundred feet, 300 feet, 500 feet off, then yeah, we need to set power to either descend or to climb. So when we're just, 50 feet off, 25 feet off, even up to 100 feet off, you can just use pitch.
Right.
Just know that once you pitch down, you're going to gain a little bit of speed, right?
Right.
So you're going to need to level back off. Let the airspeed settle back into what it likes to be at for cruise.
Right. So would you undershoot the altitude a little bit then?
So there's a lead. Yeah, we haven't really talked about that much, but you always want to lead the altitude. So if we're climbing and we're descending, we don't wait till we get to that altitude to then level off because we blow right through it, right? So usually, generally speaking for us, somewhere around 50 feet is a good indicator.
It's a little hazy, nice and smooth though. We're gaining a...
So keep those eyes on a swivel, right? Should mostly, more time than anything should be spent outside the cockpit looking, right? And just quick glances back in. That's why we want to really pay attention to what does this attitude look like outside, right? If I know what my trimmed attitude looks like, I know, is the distance getting bigger, is it getting smaller? I know if I'm descending or climbing just by looking outside, right? I can look out on the wingtips, look at that distance between the wingtip out there on the horizon, right? If I'm turning, it's going to get smaller. If it's getting bigger, I'm turning the other way. So just, even while you're, those eyes outside looking for traffic, you can quickly know, am I on my, and always just use something, different. So right now I can see the snow out there on the peak.
Yep.
That's a good spot to aim at, right?
Yeah, that was my natural plan. We're pretty pretty spot on everything, trimmed out.
Yep, so now run the cruise checklist. So anytime you change your configuration of the airplane, always back it up with the checklist.
Power?
Have it set at 24?
Next year? We haven't really messed with.
And we're fine, we can keep it full, Rich. We're not going to be that long.
Heading indicators, scotch off.
Just check it good.
And instruments.
Okay, so instruments means these instruments, right? Making sure things are correct.
But
also these motor, as well, right? Making sure everything's looking green. And so as we get closer to Independence, I already switched us, but we want to start listening to their frequency, right? And that just lets us know, you know, is there people in the traffic pattern? Is there people leaving? What runway are they using, right? So we'll give about 10 miles out, we'll give our first call.
Okay. So do you just guess on the distance? I mean, you got your computer.
Yeah, you guess. I mean, like, you know, if we weren't using these things, right? So I put direct to Independence, and we're 16.94 nautical miles. So this is what you're going to use for your call out. Right?
See, I didn't know that you did that.
So we got that airplane down there about 2 o'clock low.
Yeah, I got it.
So he's in the practice area. Yeah. He's out playing around.
That's Salem Kaiser over there. Yeah, there's the freeway.
Yep, so you kind of know where you're at. So what's this that we're going over right now then?
Got the Willamette
That's
River.
the Willamette, yep.
Bunch of sloughs and stuff.
That's a little bit different, you know, getting used to just looking down and looking at stuff from the air. Believe it or not, it's not as easy as you think.
No, it's not.
To kind of figure out where you are. And imagine, you know, eventually here you're going to be able to look outside and know almost instantly where you are. But imagine being in an area that you've never been before. Right? Well, I mean, what makes that river any different than any other one? You really have to start to pay attention to things like the bend. Oh, by the bend there's a farm. Oh, on my map there's a bend and a farm. Right? Okay, so we can drift a little bit to the left now. So see,
I got another piece of snow I'm headed for.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Remember, as we turn, you always need a little tiny bit of rudder while we turn. So just kind of, we're doing a nice subtle turn, so nothing big here. So we'll just.
I love seeing the oxbows and stuff where the river used to run. Pretty cool.
Okay, so you kind of looked outside. Where would we go if we lost our engine right now?
Oh, we got a lot of fields here that I like.
Yep.
That big one right underneath us looks pretty nice. But there's a lot of fields. But that one's the biggest one. It'll give us the longest run that I see.
Yeah, so always remember to look remember behind you. There's a really big one right here.
Yeah.
Another big one right here that's orientated north and south.
Right.
We obviously have the road. The challenge with the road is usually there's power lines that go along the road.
Right.
Right. So, and you won't see them until you get lower.
Right.
The other issue with some of these fields is the irrigation piping. So start to get used to looking at what each of these fields. And as we start doing some work down low, I'll do a little bit of the flying so you can really just kind of look outside and look for power lines, look for what's actually in that field. Because a lot of stuff you look from up here and you go, oh, that's a good field. And you get down below and you realize it's freaking grapes, right? And there's thousands, there's thousands of posts, but you didn't notice them from up here because they look nice and uniform. So once we get to the other side of this ridge, we're going to start a descent. Okay, so how are we going to do the descent?
Descent, we're just going to power off, just let the plane come down a little.
And how fast do we want to come down at?
Like 500 feet a minute.
Yeah. So this is where we start to learn what our power settings are and what power setting gets us that, right? So we know if I'm trimmed for cruise flight and I want to descend at 500 feet a minute, right? I'm at somewhere between 23 and 24 on my RPMs. We'll look and see what our RPMs are set at without touching our pitch, right? We'll just let the airplane.
Right.
And then we'll take a note of that, right? And then you know for the future, hey, if I pull my power off to 20, right, to 2000 or to 1900 or whatever it might be, I know what that configuration is. Okay, so how far are we from Independence?
We are 13.3.
Right, do you know where it is? Can you see the town yet?
Well, I see the town, but I don't see the airport yet.
Okay, so So this is where, so when you look at this map real quick, see the highlighted color, the yellow, right?
Yes.
That's the town.
Yes.
So that can orientate you. Let me do north up. All right, so that's pointing north now. So you can kind of orientate yourself to where is the airport in conjunction to where the actual town is.
So it'd be like to the northwest. So I see a green hunk out of the town.
Exactly. It's just to the west of the town. If you literally went straight to the west of the main part, you're going to see it, and it's tucked right in there. Okay, so at this point, we need to kind of think about where we're going, right, and how we're going to get there. So we kind of know where the airport is. We can see it out there. So this is the time we want to start we can make our turn south so we don't eat up a lot of time. Just go ahead and turn all the way south towards the airport. As you make a turn, remember, use that rudder. Keep us at this altitude, though. So it's going to take just a little bit of back pressure. You're going to lose, or you're going to start to lose altitude. That rudder coordinate, good. So point us just to the right of the town, right? Because we want to set up for a 45 entry for the runway.
Yeah.
All right, which we're looking for runway 34. So we'll give them a call here in just a second. Okay, so once you get this is good right here. So get us nice and settled, and now go ahead and get us into a descent. And we want to descend down to 2,500 feet.
Okay, so I anticipate I'm going to go past my green arc. Okay. So we'll start with carb heat.
Okay, so let's go with carb heat on. Good.
And we'll see what that does.
So that's not going to quite get us there. So go ahead and pull off. So roughly it's about 100 RPMs is about 100 feet per minute descent. So we were at 23, so come back to about 18 and see what that does. And remember, it's going to be good, but as we speed up, because we're going down, right, so the airplane's going to trim out a little bit. So hold it right here now. Let's not do anything, let's just see what it does.
So we're descending at 1,000.
So maybe a little bit too much there, right? So maybe add in, let's go to 19. Hold it there, let it stabilize, see how we're kind of coming back up now? Yeah, the nose is just naturally kind of lifting back up.
Right.
And right now we're at about 600.
So it's a little less than 100, this one, huh?
So there's just about 500. So we went down, we took off about 300 RPMs there.
Right.
And you'll see we're probably going to go a little bit below 500 here in a minute as the plane kind of, remember, we didn't do anything.
Traffic, less 463, 45 inbound, left traffic, 34 independent.
34 independent.
So he should be right here somewhere, huh?
How far out did he say?
Didn't.
So we got some traffic coming off to our right here.
There he is.
So I'm going to give you got him? So
I just saw something straight off our nose there.
Independent traffic, Silver RV,
might have been a bird.
34, straight up, departure to the north.
Okay, hold on for a minute. So independent traffic, blue and white Cessna 8607 uniform, 9 miles to the north, descending through 3,500, maneuvering for a 45 entry, 3-form Independence.
And Independence, lost to 463 midfield, left downwind, 34 Independence.
So we got some traffic, and our altitude, you got him? I didn't see him, so where is he at?
I didn't see him.
So let's make see this road? Let's not go past this road. Let's make a turn.
Turn left?
Yeah, so let's not get on the west side of that road. Just get right on it, basically. And then you see the airport out there?
Yep.
Use that road as your 45 marker. So stay pretty much on that road until we get to a 45 entry. Yeah, so this guy's turning back towards us. So watch out for him. He's
somewhere here, huh?
Independence traffic, RV4 Romeo.
Go ahead and turn on all your lights.
On the 45 and 34 at Independence.
Okay, landing lights?
Okay, so I got him. We're going to follow him in.
Okay. You got him? Where is he? Or you just know where he's at?
Yeah, I just know where he is.
Alright, so we got to keep swinging right to make the 45, right?
Nope, just stay right where you're at. And once you hit that road, then make a due south turn to stay right on that road. Follow that road south until you see
Independence,
about 45
inches. Left base, 34 Independence.
Okay, so where are we at? We're at 2,500, so we're going to keep our descent going all the way down to what now?
Well, traffic pattern altitude,
okay,
which
so
is 1,200.
Okay, good.
1180.
Independence traffic, Cessna, Illinois Cessna, 6.5 miles to the northwest, maneuvering for a 45 entry will be number 2 on the entry. 3-4 Independence.
Independence, Luskin 463 short final, 3-4 Independence.
Okay, so we're good at that, guys. So go ahead and get on. Put this road on your left side, so you can see it on your left side. And run your descent checklist real quick.
Descent mixture rich in fuel to both. Mixture's rich.
So reach down, touch it for both.
Fuels to both. Carb heat as required. It's on ADS AWAS. Altimeter set. Do we want to reset the altimeter with the instrument, heading indicator to compass? Heading indicator is pretty close. Oh, my bad. It's not pretty close.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, you see the runway out there to the left? It's just about under 45, and we're 5 miles. So we're going to stay right where we're at here until that turns to 3 miles. Then you're going to make a turn to the center of the runway. Okay, and that'll put us on a 45 entry for runway 34. So we're going to continue our descent. Where are we at? We're at
Independence traffic, RB4 Romeo November.
So we don't want to go below 1,200.
Independence.
So anticipate that rollout, and we're going to anticipate it by just adding carburetor heat in and bringing some power back into about 21, 22, just into the green, because we don't want to get too fast, right?
Right.
Just stay right here.
So we still got 1,200 to go.
Push scan going.
And Independence plus 463, you can go ahead and no delay depart 34.
Say about 50 early.
Yep, exactly. So here comes your, so go ahead and add in that power, take off your carb heat. If you need to, pitch and hold it so we don't go below it. Now add in that power to get us to that 21. So add power, add power. Add one more, another 100. Add there, hold it right there. Okay, now just hold our altitude right here, let the airplane settle in. And if you need to, then retrim. Okay, so
Independence traffic for the Cessna.
See the road right here, the intersection? At that intersection,
runway 34, departing on the downwind to the south, Independence.
Independence traffic, Cessna blue and white, we're just entering a 3 mile 45 entry for left traffic, 3-4 Independence.
And Independence, RB4 Romeo November is base turning
final. Alright, so let's actually slow us down some more because there's people leaving, so take it to 2,000.
Back with the carb heat.
Yep, go ahead, put the carb heat back on. If we need to, readjust your throttle and keep us at that 1,200. So see how we're low? So go ahead and just pitch us right back up. Just pitch us up. And we're going to sacrifice a little bit of speed.
But we could lose a little too right now.
Yeah, so now, okay, so now right about here. Hold it right in here.
Yep.
And we need to add some power, so pay attention over here to your RPM. So add power, there we go. Okay, and we're looking for traffic coming off of this runway. So.
I heard him call, but I don't see him.
Just went airborne. Oh. I got him. Independence traffic, Cessna 8607 uniforms on a 2 mile 45 entry. We have the traffic just off of 3-4 Independence.
I got somebody on the runway there.
Keep us at that, see how we lost altitude there? So let's bring us
Independence traffic, RB4 Romeo November is clear of the runway.
Just back up here.
Independence traffic, Cessna 35 uniform, turning left crosswind, runway 34, downwind departure, have downwind traffic in sight, Independence.
Add in some power. Good, okay, so we're looking for 90 knots. Okay, let's go ahead and make a right turn, get onto the downwind. And Independence traffic, blue and white Cessna making entering right downwind, excuse me, left downwind, runway 34 Independence. A little bit low still, so add in some...
Independence traffic, Cessna 35 uniform, turning left downwind, runway 34, downwind departure, have other downwind traffic in sight, not a factor.
So find it like this, look out, find a spot out there on the horizon to look at.
Got it.
And now look to get our altitude and our airspeed set, okay? So we're pretty low, so let's actually just kind of pitch up here, add some power. Okay, look, we're already there, quick, right? So now we're just going to hold it here, keep that power set. We're a little bit on the slow side, okay? All right, so stay on the controls now. Okay.
I'm on my controls.
Now run our.
I'm just going to shadow.
Run our checklist for landing.
Okay, landing checklist. Landing light on, autopilot off, seatbelt harness, mixture, best power, carb heat on, fuel to both, flaps as required.
Alright, so we're basically 10 degrees of flaps, we're set about 1700 on the power, right? And we're going to descend now at this 90 knots. Okay, so I'm about 85. I'm drifting into the runway a little bit. Alright, so I want to get back straight. And we're just about to the 45 there.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see how we're at 90.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to make our turn. Okay, clear, looking for our turn. Independence traffic, highwaying blue and white Cessna left base, runway 34, Independence. As I roll out here, see the road out in front of me? I can use that as a general reference, and I'm going to add 20 degrees of flaps, right? Okay, I got just a little bit more power. Final is clear.
Independence, Boston 463, 99, 45 inbound, left traffic 34, Independence.
And Cessna 8607 uniforms, final 34, Independence. Alright, so I'm going to go full flaps now, get us slowed down. Full flaps are set. Gas, undercarriage, mixture's full rich. Okay. Looking for the runway here, get back online, and my speed, I'm looking for right about that 70 knots, okay?
Alright.
So see, I'm right at 70. See how we're sinking?
Yep.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add some power just to keep our descent, right?
Right.
I want to keep the pitch attitude to keep us at 70. But I don't want to, I'm using pitch to control airspeed at this point. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I'm using my power here to control our descent rate.
Independence, left to 463, midfield, left to 34.
As I know I have the runway made, right? So we're coming into 65.
Right.
Okay, we have the runway made. So we can come off the power now. Right. And as the runway starts to get big, I just pull back.
Yep.
Let it come in.
Alright. After landing, flaps up, carb heat off, robes off. Landing light off.
Independence traffic, blue and white Cessna, clear the active taxi into the Cafe Independence.
Independence, left to 463, at left base, 34, Independence.
RP.
Okay, are you ready for the airplane?
Mixture is required. Yes, I'm ready for the airplane.
Of the airplane.
Of the airplane. So we don't have any wind going on right
pattern
now.
Independence, 89337 will hold short, runway 34.
Thank you much. Left to 463 now, coming final 34, Independence.
And where do we park?
So see there's tie downs right here in the center?
Yes.
Cafe is open.
Nose into the...
Let's go to the next one. Go to pull right, go right, go right, go right.
Right, go right, go right.
And then you want your nose to go right over that center chain. Straight, straight.
Independent traffic out of lane 137, taking runway 34 will be parking to the north.
Keep your back pressure here. Okay, go straight, just straight. No, straight. Nose wheel straight. There you go. Now, there you go. Take the power all the way off.
Power all the way off.
Now brake.
Brakes.
So basically a hair bit forward, and come back a little bit more forward. Right there. Perfect. Alright.
Okay. And securing. ELT verify silent. Avionics off.